How cool is this? What is up, internet world, and welcome back to Accelerate. My name is Mike, and the man behind the camera is Ian, and today we're bringing the 2024... I can't tell you, because we have a bunch of guinea pig car enthusiasts in the waiting area. So today we're gonna do something different. We're gonna blindfold them. We're giving them 30 seconds to touch the outside of this vehicle and 30 seconds to touch the inside of the vehicle, and they're gonna guess. They're gonna have 3 guesses to see what they think this vehicle is. So let's go meet them. Now, before we go in the waiting area, I want to talk about today's sponsor, Surfshark VPN. So for those of you who know me, you know when I'm not filming cars here at Accelerate, I'm out traveling Latin America. I even own a condo in Panama and a big piece of land in Colombia. So as you can guess, public Wi-Fi is a staple for me, and having a secure internet connection is super, super important. Surfshark VPN protects me from the hackers who can easily access my internet. Yep, you know what they do? They encrypt information between my computer and the interwebs. Travel restrictions are also a major issue. Surfshark VPN swaps the real location of my device so I can continue to see things that are familiar to me in my own currency. Yep, that's what they do. Instead of seeing pesos in Colombia, I see dollars. So thanks to our sponsor, Surfshark VPN, you can get an extra 3 months by using our code ACCELERATE with an 8 at the end. Just click the link in the description below and you can get 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk in trying it out. So don't forget, use the link, the code ACCELERATE with an 8 at the end. So everybody gets 3 guesses. These are all their names: Dylan, Heather, David, Derek, Fergus, Prem, and Matt. Let's see who wins this baby. All right, y'all, you guys ready? All right, here we go big time. So thank you for everybody for coming. We've got the rules, there's some rules here. First things first, you're all gonna have 1 minute to touch the outside of the car and 1 minute to touch the inside of the car to guess what kind of car this is. We're gonna blindfold you, so who's going first? Put your hands up. All right, can you breathe?
From the bottom, yeah.
Can you breathe?
You did watch this before, right?
What? Yeah, no, bro. But can you breathe though? Your nose is looking real tight, yeah? Contestant number 1, we got Dave. He's gonna be able to touch the car. Hi guys, I'm Dave. Okay, there we go. Do whatever you'd like. Look how tall you are. How tall are you? Contestant number 2, we got Dylan.
Yo. Wait a second.
All right, contestant number 3, we got Matt.
I feel like there's probably like an emblem or something.
Well, I'm trying to find badges of sorts, because is it all covered? Darn, okay. I think I'm going the wrong way around it. I want to go to the very front. Not electric, there's gaps in the front.
That's pretty low.
These are Forgiatos right here.
I can see Japanese in a way, like Lexus shapes.
Okay, so it's got a wheel on it. Oh, it's a big, thick wheel.
It's oval, it's not round, so it could be Ford.
I think I need to take a whiff at the back. That's a long car.
Quarter panel.
Hold on, I know exactly what this is here. A Nissan Rogue.
So it's big. I think it's an SUV. It feels big. It feels fast.
Feels fast. Okay, all right.
Like it feels aerodynamic.
SUV crossover of sorts.
Okay.
A bit tall. Now I'm not thinking Lexus, because they put the Lexus along the top now. This is really difficult.
You guys taped it, eh?
There's no exhaust.
It feels like German engineering, for sure.
Well, that's a big moonroof there. See all the stars? Take your girlfriend out in here? It feels like Audi, Mercedes, like higher end. There's some leather, there's some nice stitch here.
Very exquisite. I can't.
I'm still going with BMW. Like, I don't know what an electric BMW would be called though.
Same thing, the leather and the stitch. Yeah, definitely like Audi, Mercedes, BMW maybe.
Smells like leather.
Can you feel kind of the dashboard there?
Nah, wait. Mercedes?
Okay.
Screen's really far away, making me feel, again, Mazda, Lexus, something Japanese. Okay. But it's probably something German based on my guesses.
Oh, what is that? Why is it so smooth? It's like velvety. It's very exotic.
From cup holder, it seems like a Volkswagen. I have a Volkswagen GTI. The steering feels like a Volkswagen. Just like
Just like my GTI.
Alcantara of sorts, maybe? This is really throwing me off.
I said BMW, Jeep, and then I'm also gonna guess like a Chevy Blazer, just to throw it out there.
Mercedes, and we'll throw in like a Kia.
Final guess, Nissan Altima.
Okay, I think it's either like a Mercedes, Airbus A330, Lamborghini Urus.
I am gonna guess a Mazda CX-5.
It's a Mazda. Did you think it was a Mazda? I said CX. I know you said you got it right. Fergus wins. But dude, look what we got. We got Benz, we got BMW, Mercedes.
Did anyone guess it?
That was fun. So let's get back to the actual review of Mazda's flagship, replacing the CX-9, the all-new CX-90. Bigger, badder motor. Their most powerful engine they've ever produced in a Mazda ever is in this, an inline six. Sick! It looks sweet. I could not wait to get my hands on it, and I'm glad that today we're gonna talk about it. Today is a big deal. We have the all-new Mazda CX-90 with a new engine from them, their most powerful engine they've ever made. It's an inline six-cylinder. Yep, inline six-cylinder. The horsepower though, it's typical Mazda. They give you a regular gas rating and a premium gas rating. So you actually have 3 ratings out of the same engine. You have like a turbo and then a turbo S. So we'll start off with the regular base engine. It makes 280 horsepower and 332 pound-feet of torque out of the base motor. Then you have the turbo S version, which is this that I'm sitting in. And this one makes 340 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque only when you use premium fuel. If you use regular gas, which is what is in this car right now for our little launchy thing, it makes a whopping 319 horsepower and the exact same torque of 369. It's made it to a brand new 8-speed transmission with a mild hybrid to help me off the line. So I'm in sport. Foot to the ground. Okay, it doesn't let me boost it too long, so we're gonna try. 1, 2, go. .20. I don't know if we can break 6s. It just didn't feel like it had that oomph off the line. I feel like for sure I'd be breaking the 5s if I had premium fuel, but with regular gas, I doubt it. And even the way this thing launches, it's not really designed to launch. Let me get some power here, okay? Go. It's too slow off the line. Yeah. 6.14. Whew. That was a slower. Okay. Maybe I need to be warmed up. 6.14. You're getting better. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. The other thing is the transmission is not snappy like you would think, being just weird. It's just not really, just feels like it's not wanting to do this. It seems like it's better 30 time. 6.13. Okay. Are you teasing me, Mazda? This is strange. So I don't know if it's all regular fuel in this tank or if it's half regular, half premium, but I feel like the engine give me more. It's not, like the tranny doesn't fire enough. It's like it's slipping the tranny to make it smoother. It's very smooth, I mind you, but it's not like snappy and aggressive. It's definitely not BMW, which is what this thing compares against on all levels from a reviewer standpoint. So first things first, let's talk about the craziest part about this Mazda CX-90, and has nothing to do with the actual car. It has to do with packages. Yep, in the US, you have 11 different packages you can buy with the Mazda CX-90. You have two different engine choices, the Turbo and the Turbo S, like we're talking about a Porsche, but we're not. We're talking about a Mazda. So we'll start off with their base car called the Select, with a starting price of $39,595. Next up, you have the Preferred. From there, you have the Preferred Plus. Then you have the Premium. The Premium Plus is up next, and then you move up to the Turbo S. Then you have the Turbo S Premium and the Turbo S Premium Plus. And then there are three different plug-in hybrid versions, the Preferred, the Premium, and the Premium Plus. And here today, we're gonna be talking about this. In Canada, it's called the Signature, and in the US, it's called the Turbo S Premium Plus. How elegant and rich and luxurious does the front of this look? Magical. So if we start with the headlights here, you can see how they've been pulled back. They're not at the front of the bumper, which is what most manufacturers have or have placed their headlights. This is sort of recessed a little bit. Now, of course, the grille does wrap around that, so it does give it more of a front forward-facing design, or what they like to call Kodo design. And it's not a flat grille, it actually pivots outward and then recesses back in to give it more of a design feature to make it look like it's moving when it's standing still. Then you have Parktronic on the front here, and of course a front camera with a pretty large Mazda logo. As you feast your eyes on the width of this grille, you can see that it does have some inlets here to create some sort of an air curtain around the wheels. There are more Parktronic sensors to give you that depth in terms of safety. And on the lower grille here, you have some sort of radar on the side here. It's only on the right side when looking at the vehicle. There's nothing on the left. This would be where some radar features are hiding behind, and then more chrome accents on the bottom. To the side of the all-new Mazda CX-90, it's the prettiest on all corners. This is the side, and when I show you the back, you're also gonna love it. Now we'll talk about competitors because there's a ton in this space. So I want you guys to comment below on some of its competitors that you think are better looking than this. Even if you pick one, totally fine, because there are lots. You guys ready? There is the Telluride, the Palisade, the Explorer, the Traverse, the Ascent, the Highlander, the Pathfinder, the Pilot. It just doesn't end. This list is monstrous. Pretty much anybody looking for a vehicle today will get their hands on any of those I just said. And now they have the CX-90 to add to that. So we start with the headlights. You can see how they're recessed in. And then moving along the side, you have this nice clean crease with color painted body wheel arches. Sick. Then you have 21-inch wheels, but the cool part about it is they're 275 wide. In this class, 275 wide is unheard of. Don't ask me about replacement costs, but check out these wheels. 275, thumbs up. Then you've got the Inline 6 side badging over here that is different. Then you have very typical Mazda side mirrors, and then Mazda door handles. That's pretty typical. But you have some new additions. Your little chromey accents on the bottom. When you get to the end, it says Mazda right there. And moving back up here, you have chrome on the top of the windows and sort of a black plasticky trim on the bottom. And then you've got this weird connection at the back here. I'd say this is a bit of a weird one. They could have done a little bit better with that, but hey, everything else is beautiful and fantastic. Now, if you're wondering why it's taking me so long to walk to the front of this vehicle, because I will tell you that it's 7.5 inches longer than the CX-9. It's actually 8 inches longer than the Pilot, and also about 8 inches longer than the Palisade. So this is longer, not the body itself, it's a little bit longer, but the wheelbase from here all the way till here, that's how much longer it is than its competition. So that gives you better handling because they've aligned everything to the center, as I talk about in my drive. Everything's in center, everything's tight. They're trying to make this more of a driving machine, which is why it's compared to BMW all day long. to the back of the CX-90. First things first, how much does it tow? Well, depending on the trim package you buy, you can tow up to 5,000 pounds or as little as 3,500 pounds. So if you start at the top here, you have your third brake light. You have the wiper in the worst possible position. That's just my opinion. It needs to hide underneath there. Moving down from there, you have the Mazda center badge. You have these elongated rear taillights. Very BMW vibe on the back here. New generation BMW right there. Moving down from there, you have eSkyActiv G. Now, speaking of eSkyActiv G, this is a mild hybrid. And then next to it, you have the CX-90 all-wheel drive badge. But if you notice, even without this rear tailgate up, you can see how high this load floor is. Now, it doesn't have air suspension, so I can't drop it. So this is what you get. I have to lift a box from here and basically put it right here where this bumper starts. And this bumper is really wide and flat. You've got your Parktronic sensors. Of course, you've got your camera hiding up there. But you'll notice there are no exhausts. None whatsoever. So where's the sportiness, or are we just pandering? Front seat of the all-new Mazda CX-90. Holy premium. This feels very BMW. What? All right, so door panel time. Let's start off with that. This has two trims. You've got this like wood trim on the top, and then you have this plastic on the bottom, but it protrudes outward to give it sort of a flare look in case you have water flowing down here, I guess. Never seen that one before. You have two memory seats, but they're not in the door panel. They're actually on the lower part of the dash right there. You have fold-in mirrors. You have all four corners being automatic up and down windows. When I move to the dash, I do have a big heads-up display that is colored. I have a 12.3-inch driver's display that is very vivid to my eyes. I got a 12.3-inch center infotainment display for everybody, and it is wireless CarPlay. It is only touchscreen though when I'm in CarPlay mode. Again, Android Auto, we don't have one, so I assume that's the same way for that. But in terms of everything else, you have to use this thing, and that's exactly the same as a CX-50. It's touchscreen for Apple CarPlay, but it's not touchscreen for your FM, AM, or satellite radio for that matter. Now, underneath the driver vent, you have your 360 safety system that you can hit on or off. You've got your Parktronic front and back that you can shut off, your stability program or traction control, and then your iStop off, which is essentially your start and stop button that you can hit on or off. Then you have your trunk that you can push up. When I hit it, as you can see, it goes upward. And then when I hit it again, let's see if it closes. I assume it does because it's got arrows. Hold it down and voila, it closes. Then again, your two memory seat and a set button. On your steering column, you have your auto high beam as well as a fully powered adjustable telescopic steering wheel. On a lot of domestic product, the steering wheel stocks are very cheap, but on this Mazda, it feels very good, very premium, including the steering wheel. As you can see, it's two-tone. You have your Windsor tan on the inside, and then you have a black on the outside, on the face of it. You've got paddle shifters left and right, of course, to shift gears down, shift gears up. And then as far as the buttons on the face of the steering wheel, you have your volume controls, skipping tracks, your source, mute, obviously your phone buttons, and then of course your cruise control, because it does have adaptive cruise control on this signature model, as well as keeping you in your lane and your on or off cruise control button right there. That changes the dash. Check this out. Now the driver's seat does have lumbar support. It also has suede in the center. You've got a black stripe running through the middle of the seat, and then you have Nappa leather on the outside. Premium Nappa leather, I might add. Now, if we talk about the dash itself, if you look up here, you will notice that it's a bit of a triangle because this information center is sort of tapered or angled towards the driver. It makes it more driver oriented, just like a BMW. You have your hazard lights right here. Some people complain that it's unfinished right there, but I kind of understand that. They've wrapped the suede around the hazard light button. You've got your start and stop button right there, and then you have very car-like vents. They're very thin, narrow, and minimalistic. HVAC controls, really weird. Check this out. If I want to go up in heat, most vehicles, you just kind of push it upward, but not Mazda. You've got to push the heat button downward to increase the temperature, and then of course hit the button to the left of it, which is to cool it, also downward. There's no upping. There's no upping in this thing, just downing. You have your heated and cooled seats to my left, heated and cooled seats to my right. Very easy to use HVAC buttons. Again, if you like buttons, this is gonna work for you. A very clean display above that. You have wireless charging. As you can see, you have a really wide center console because part of the transmission is actually built into and underneath the center console. You can see they've opted to keep the same front to back cup holders. You do have this panel over here that is not piano black, thank God. You do have this sort of fake or faux wood. It's plastic here because it's smooth, and here it's a little bit rough, and you can hear it. Now to the left of the cup holder, you have the MI drive, which stands for Mazda Intelligent Drive. That is your drive modes. You've got sport, normal, and off-road. And then this shifter shifts a little bit different. We're used to going back and forth, but this one sort of goes up, 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 and then to the left to go into park. Or for me to go into gear, I'm in park right now, I have to shift to the right, and I'm in reverse, then neutral, then drive. It's sort of odd, but hey, maybe a little bit of a twist. Then you have your hill descent button, and then of course your 360 cameras. When I hit it, it gives you a 360 view, but it also offers something different. It's called a see-through view, and you can see it right on the screen there. It sort of does what a waiting feature would do, but it's a see-through view, so you can see past what's in front of you. And then moving down from there, this is no different than other Mazdas, simply a rotary knob that allows you to adjust your 12.3-inch screen. You've got your electromechanical parking brake, your auto hold, and then of course your volume button right here, which is in probably the best place ever for the passenger. Now, how about the softness of the center console? Pretty good for your elbows. And how much room do you have underneath? Not a whole lot. You do have 2 USB-Cs and basically not enough height to clear this. Nope. So it's very shallow, but hey, it is what it is. Now the software on this Mazda is the same as Ian's Mazda 3 as well as the CX-50 we have reviewed already. Very straightforward, very bland in your face. The quality of the navigation, I will say, is very poor, so I would suggest anybody buying this to use CarPlay at all times, because take a look at this. This is like brutally ugly to look at. User interface is weak. So the way to shift into Apple CarPlay is you simply take the rotary knob, you shift it to the right, and voila, this is what you see. This is much, much better. Now I can use my fingers and slide left and right, and voila, this is what you want to see and use. Nice big display. Funny enough, it actually looks like a really, really big cell phone. The iPhone 17. So let's get into the third row. There's a handle on the top here. I pull it back, I slide this forward. Very minivan style, easy to use. My foot goes here. It is recessed a little bit, but easy to get in. I pivot my body forward and voila, I'm inside. I will slide this back to show you how much room we have. Pull this, that's it. Lots of room. My feet are kind of weird. The seat rails kind of block me a little bit. So my feet kind of get jammed in here. That tells me that it's designed for somebody with smaller feet. Now I'm a size 10, so I shouldn't really have this problem, but I do. Now there's different configurations you can buy in the CX-90. You can get a 6-passenger, which is what this one is, a 7 and an 8 as well. The 8 is kind of confusing because I've never seen an 8, so I'm only assuming that in the back here I have 3 seat belts because I only have 2 back here, one on this side, one on that side. As far as quality goes here, I have a lot of padding, so I feel comfortable back here. As far as headroom goes, decent amount. The only annoying part for me is that this panoramic sunroof is really small, which means I have absolutely no sort of lighting coming in here. A little bit claustrophobic, I will say. Now, as far as visibility goes on the side, I do have this little glass here, so I do have some openings for me to look outward and inward. Venting is another problem, in my opinion. There's vents back here, but they're small and they're basically by my knees and they have to point upward, which means if you got a third row back here, or sorry, a 3-seater back here in the third row, the guy in the middle or the kid in the middle would have very little venting as far as, like, you know, air in case he gets claustrophobic, like this guy. Now, as far as plugging in goes, you have a USB-C here, a USB-C there, and 2 cup holders per side. Not a ton of storage to hold chips or whatever, but hey, it is what it is. Second row. Let's start off with the door panel here, and this is where the premium really shines. Now we can start off with the sunshades at the top, pull that back down. It is tinted, nice big glass for second row occupants to look out of. They are tinted in North America on pretty much most SUVs. Moving down into the door panel itself, you've got this nice trim, no piano black right there, even though you have 2 different shades. This is more of a colored or darkened sort of aluminum possibly. It's plastic, but it appears to be aluminum. And then from there you have this Windsor tan suede or Alcantara, if you're talking about German vehicles. It covers a lot of the door panel, which makes it feel really, really premium. Then you have your speaker grille, and then you have some stitching, dual stitching actually, that wraps all the way around the handles. But for your elbows, is it soft? Yes, it is. But the most important piece for the kiddies is you have 2 spots for bottles, and you have a little cubby over there for a bag of Doritos. Now when I jump in here, I will say the premium continues. You've got great formed seats. They feel firm, they feel premium, and they're different material on the inserts as opposed to the sides. You can see they're different. They appear the same, but this has a suede touch, and this is more of a leather touch with a center black stripe moving up, very similar to the CX-90 that we reviewed in this video here. Now these captain's chairs are fully reclinable, so I can relax in peace. I do have an armrest on my right, individually centered, as you can see, one for me and one for you. Got 2 big cup holders here. I do have some storage underneath there. When I lift it up, I do have a fairly deep storage compartment. And when I look outward, I do have storage behind both the passenger and driver seat. I do have 2 vents there, 2 USB-Cs, heated and ventilated seats, 3 increments each, and of course a full-out HVAC control panel for me to play around with my temperature back here. And then when I look up, I do have a shortened panoramic sunroof. Again, I wish it came all the way back, but hey, the way it is. So if you guys want to see what the key looks like, it looks exactly the same as Ian's Mazda 3. No difference in this CX-90, even though it is the top dog, signature trim, or premium plus in the US. So as far as opening up this rear tailgate, right in the center there's a button, which is amazing. I hate it when they put the camera in the center and it's off axis. Right in the center there's a button. I push it, it beeps, and it opens up. How high does it open? Well, I can push it up all the way up, and that is as high as it goes. I would say that it's fair. Some SUVs do actually open up higher than this. Again, I'm not very tall, 5'9" just about, and I'm right here. So if you're 6 foot, 6'1", you're probably gonna hit the top of this thing. Now, first thing I notice is there are 2 lights, one at the back of the tailgate and one right here. This is really important because a lot of vehicles only have one, and it's really just designed to show you where you're walking so you don't hit this rear bumper. But it's really important to have lights so you can see what you're doing in the back here, because there's so many times at night when you pull up to your driveway, you pop it open, you can barely see it. And especially when you get old, your eyes are like, what? I can't see anything. So having these 2 lights are important. Now, as far as space go, with the seats folded down, you get a whopping 53 inches from the back of the second center console. But what about the seats up? You get about 21 inches. So it's decent, it's not huge, and that is because you have more space in the 3rd row and the 2nd row. Again, there are some vehicles out there, including the Telluride, that are larger in the back here, but not for capacity for people sitting in the vehicle. This is larger. How about space underneath here? Well, there's not a whole lot. There's just sort of these cutouts for the tire underneath there. There's a little strap and, again, some tools for a spare tire. Now, in terms of buttons, there are none. There's just simply this handle that you pull that brings the 3rd row up. There's no button here or no pulley things to drop anything. It's simply done by lifting this or pulling this little handle and it folds down. That's very typical on vehicles that were built in 2018, 2019, but 2023 or this thing, 2024, it should have really a pull handle or some sort of button that can drop the 2nd row at the very minimum. It doesn't have it. That's a bit disappointing. This is a big deal because it's rear-wheel drive biased. Try saying that fast 15 times. Rear-wheel drive biased, rear-wheel drive biased. It is all-wheel drive, but it's biased to the back, which means if I pull over on the shoulder and it's gravelly and I hit the throttle, the back wheels will rotate first. And that sort of churns out a vehicle that handles really well. So what Mazda's done is made everything skinnier when it comes to the engine and transmission because it's done all in-house. So take, for example, it's an inline 6, not a wide 6, it's inline, so skinny. The transmission's right behind that, again, in-house, tighten it up, but not to lose space for the footwells for people like me and the passenger. And also what they've done is because of that, they've made it small. That allows a direct contact with the steering wheel, and the way it's positioned, it doesn't have to go through more sort of, you know, twisties and turns. It's just direct from the steering wheel into the transfer linkage, into the steering wheel itself. It has a more direct feel is what Mazda says. I probably explained that terribly, but you get the drift. They're trying to compact everything and make it fit. But the biggest piece of all that is this. They have more space for suspension, which is why the suspension is a big deal in this Mazda CX-90. It handles very well. The suspension is very BMW-ish. Any review you listen to or read, it will say BMW. Suspension and stiffness is very BMW-like. It handles very well. Mazdas generally do handle well. They totally suck from an engine sound perspective, but they handle very, very well. It's more smoother. Nobody in the car will know you're shifting gears. So it's smooth that way, but it's not like bam, bam, bamity bam. But again, people are buying this to drag. No, they're buying this because of this luxurious feel inside and the stature on the outside. It is good looking. Mazda has done a great job with this. So there's a couple of things I've noticed about the CX-90, just like little tidbits. One, this is a 2024, so probably there's still some little bugs that need to be like kinked out. There's a few things. It keeps telling me distracted driver, but I'm like looking straight ahead. There's no piano black in here, so I like that. Yeah, okay, you caught me. I was distracted. True. Also, the blind spot does some funny things over there sometimes when I'm, making a left, but there's nobody next to me. But the one that's a little bit more concerning is this transmission and this like whine. It gives me a bit of a shudder at times. It's kind of strange because it gives me this howling noise or this like differential bearing noise, very slightly. Now, maybe I just pick it up. Maybe it's this specific car, but it's not a complaint. It's just a observation of sorts. So I'm rolling about 45 kilometers an hour. I'm at 15 RPM and I will pin it. It's like whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. I can hear it, and brakes, by the way, feel very solid. Very solid brakes. No complaints on the brakes. Throttle, pretty direct, still a bit of a delay, but it's that whoa, 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 whoa noise. And I'm like, what is that? Whoa, 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 whoa noise. I have to turn around and turn my head and be like, whoa, 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 whoa. So how about blind spots? Well, I mean, it is a 7th passenger, or it could be an 8th passenger as well. It's good. It's good. Feel good. Feel like they've nailed that perfectly. Actually, I don't really have much blind spot. Visibility is excellent. Even by sitting here, my eyes are right in the middle of the windshield in front of me, and the hood's perfect. It's not it's not disappearing. I have some hood, but it's not long and elongated. It's a short overhang, so that's nice. Obviously hammering on the transmission. Mazda's, even Ian's Mazda 3, I felt like the transmission was the problem. That was a 6-speed, this is an 8-speed, so you'd think they cleaned it up a little bit, even though it's wet clutch. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. It's not perfect for a driver. It's perfect for an everyday consumer, which is who's going to buy this thing. So again, not for me, for them, I think they'd be very happy with it. There's nothing to not really like about this. It's good. I mean, usually you have a good interior and the outside that's kind of bland, or you have a nice outside and the interior is kind of bland. There's something going on, but this is a good all-around product. So you can't really fault it. It's like, I wouldn't say a poor man's X7, but close. It's close. Or a smart man's X7. That sounds better. Welcome to the Mazda CX-90. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. So before you click on our next video, we want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Surfshark VPN, and use the code ACCELERATE, that's ACCELER, the number 8, for 3 months free in the description below, and we've pinned that comment.